Great.
My comment addresses point 3.9, multiplicity, and in particular that in genomic studies. When we do a genome-wide association study, we are looking for an association. We are actually not looking for confirmation for anything. And even considering the aspect of multiple testing shows that we haven't realized that what we are doing is a selection procedure rather than a confirmatory test. And I think the issue of adjustment for multiplicity, despite the fact that there's no real justification of why it should be 10 to the minus 7.5 or whatever, even talking about it is misguiding the reader or the person trying to make sense of, and is actually hurting the field, because then non-statisticians are constantly requesting such adjustment for multiplicity that's in fact guiding. So I think multiplicity is an important issue, but not in the context of a selection procedure. I'm done.
John, did you want to comment? Peter Bicketti's comment is also in the same section 3.9. Would you want to hear that before you respond to Knut?
No, I think Knut made a really excellent point there. That you're right, that multiple testing could be viewed in the context of variable selection, and it's sort of an easy, it's a nice way of understanding the same problem. But I don't have anything to add about that.
Okay, and Paul, we'll get to you in just one second, because Peter Bicketti's comment was in the same area, and he said, what would no bias toward false discovery look like? The ideal false discovery rate, a clear 0, but it is not attainable except at the cost of foregoing all discovery. I believe that great care is needed to find the right balance of risk of false discovery and risk of missing true discoveries. For example, when the payoff from a true discovery is huge and the cost of a false discovery is trivial, leading strongly toward further investigation of leads could be warranted, even if the vast majority don't work out. A related point is that the concept of discovery seems to be needlessly assuming dichotomies of results as yes or no. In general, I would argue that it is better to think in terms of amounts of evidence, in keeping with the title of this section. So, John, you can add your comments to that.
So far as what's the ideal false discovery rate? I
Right.
think one way to cast that is that the false discovery rate should equal the nominal false discovery rate. People should, the reader or the scientific community should have an idea of what an accurate sort of p-value would be. That is if they list a p-value of 0.04, that the actual type 1 error should approximate 0.04. Likewise, if they are using a Bayesian procedure to summarize evidence, that Bayesian procedure should have relatively good, frequentist properties, etc. And as far as, trying to weight discoveries to those that are higher value, that is, if we would tolerate a higher false discovery level, if the discovery would be extremely important, I think that's a great idea, but it's really difficult to quantify the value of the discovery. And there was a third point, but I forgot what the third point was. I'm sorry.
This is Knut, and that's another, again, and for the same reason we discussed, the false discovery rate in genomic studies is just another adjustment of the p-value, and in no way better than, because it's also misleading. Of course, the ideal false discovery rate is 0. However, if I'm starting out like in gene expression studies with 30,000 genes, and I'm narrowing it down to 10, and one of them is true, I have a false discovery rate of 90%, and that is great. So It is a total misconception. Again, when we're trying to use concepts that are not applying to that particular application, and if we agree on doing that, we're actually misleading our non-statistical collaborators, and we're doing a lot of harm.